Hey pal, in this video, I'm going to talk about how I find motivation every day, even when I don't feel like it. So, a lot of the time when we can't find our motivation, we're wondering, how am I going to feel like doing this? How am I going to feel like getting up? Or how am I going to feel like going out for a walk or exercising? Sometimes it can be hard to find the motivation to do these things if you're not feeling a particular way. But I think for me personally, where that came from was a lack of focus, a lack of knowing what exact steps that I should be taking to, do what it is that I want to accomplish. So, in order to figure out what it is I need to focus on, I first had to change the way that I think about goals. So usually when you think of a goal, you think of this is where I am and this is where I want to be, right? But what you should really be focusing on is what you have to do every day between here and here. These 2 points don't matter as much as you think they do, because obviously you're starting here, where you're currently at, but the only way to get to here is by doing something every day that will push you toward this goal. So I'm going to show you guys how I do it, and maybe it can help you to do it too. So the first thing is first. The easiest way to visualize this is to write it down on a paper and post it up somewhere that you will look at pretty much every day, or for me, every morning. So what I did is I wrote down on a piece of paper everything that I have to do in one day, every day, to push me towards what I want to achieve. And I'm gonna use myself as an example, because that's pretty much the only thing I can talk about that I know about is myself and what works for me. But maybe you can take my framework and apply it to what you want to do. So my current goals right now for every day, and these are non-negotiable, so this means I'm getting this done every day, no matter what, no exceptions, because you got to stick to some hard rules. You don't have to make them like super complicated. It's actually a lot easier to set daily goals than it is, just looking at where you are and where you want to be. Okay, so my goals look like this. All right, we are by the mirror. And like I said, I have my goals posted up right here next to the mirror, because I see them pretty much every day, first thing in the morning. So, as you can see, I have wake up at 5 a.m., make the bed immediately, workout routine, 10,000 steps, and then record the video, and then be in bed by 11 p.m. So the reason that these things are my focus is because my two biggest things right now are weight loss and YouTube. Those are the two things I'm trying to stay on top of right now. And doing these things every day is going to ensure that I get both of those things taken care of. First thing in the morning as well. So I get up at 5 every day, and then the first thing I do is I make my bed. Because when you make your bed, you basically put your mind in a space where you're going to get things done already. It's kind of like, oftentimes people don't realize that motivation actually comes after action. So when you make your bed first thing in the morning, you're basically taking an action that's already putting you into a state where you're more likely to be motivated, because you already got something done and you just woke up. See how that works? Now, like I said, one of the big things for me is fitness. So the first thing in the morning, get up, make my bed, get my caffeine, because I need my caffeine. I do not wake up really easily, so it's kind of like drinking coffee in the morning, or some people do energy drinks or whatever it is for you. If you need it, take it. If you don't, hey. But I get up, make my bed, get my caffeine in, and then I do my workout routine. So for me, that looks like dumbbell press, goblet squats, dumbbell curls, Romanian deadlifts, and overhead press. And then after that, I go on my 10,000 step walk, and that pretty much takes care of my exercise for the day. I mean, and that I get that out of the way immediately because that's like the hardest thing, you know? And then when I get back home, I take a nice shower, and then I record YouTube videos. And that's progress towards both my major goals in like a couple of hours, you know? If I'm consistent with it every time, I can get everything done before like even 10 a.m. depending on how long I stay and hang out at the park. Because sometimes I stay and hang out at the park for a bit, you know? Sometimes I just like to sit and watch the ducks because, you know, the ducks are pretty cool. And last but not least, I'm in bed by 11 p.m. And that's just because I tend to stay up late, so I give myself a little bit of a grace period. I don't usually get the full 8, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. It's different for everybody, so you gotta pick your vices, you know? Now, 5 a.m. might not be for you. You know, everybody has a different, like, time schedule. So just fit it in where it works for you. Another great way to get a daily motivation is if you have a way that you can track your goals. So for me, I have a step tracker that tells me how many steps I'm taking as I'm on a walk. That way, you know, it's like visible progress, because a lot of the time when you think of what you want to do or what you want to achieve, you only see the beginning and the end. But when you can constantly see your progress in the middle of all that, then it alleviates that pressure a little bit, you know, and you feel more so like you're always on the right track if you can actually see the numbers, you know, the details. Another great way that you can find motivation in your day is if you do research on topics related to your goals. You know, we got YouTube, we got all this time, you know, where we're just sitting around scrolling. So feed your mind with things that will, you know, teach you something. Feed your mind with things that will teach you about what it is you can do to move towards the goals that you want. And the last real tip that I have on daily motivation is to just clean your room. Cleaning your room, what a lot of people don't realize is that when we have clutter in our rooms, that's also a distraction. That will also, it will overwhelm you because you notice all of these things around you, right, in your room, and it's cluttered. Like if you have like clothes on like a chair, or like clothes on your bed, or your bed isn't made, or like, you know, you have some rubbish that needs to be thrown away, maybe some boxes you haven't taken down to the recycles or the cans, or all these little things that pile up in our room can serve as a distraction that will overwhelm you, and it will decrease the chance of you being motivated because you have so many things to think about that you're subconsciously taking in just by looking at what's in your room. And that can really bring your mood down, you know, and when you're not in a good mood, most of the time you don't want to do anything. So just a little trick. But that's what works for me. So if you learned anything that you like from this video, if you want to take any of the strategies that I use, definitely do it, you know. If it'll work for you, then give it a try. I really suggest the goal list is probably the most important, and making your bed, because those two things will get you started every day. But that's going to be it for today's video. I hope it was able to help some of you or motivate you to, you know, chase your goals. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to follow me along on my journey, and we can maybe learn things together and have a conversation, you know, it'll be cool. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye!